Yo, it's Travis. Let's talk about how to overcome depression. So, what are the symptoms of depression? I want you guys to take an online test if you want to self-diagnose yourself. But here are the typical symptoms. You feel tired all the time. You don't feel like going out of bed. No sex drive. You isolate yourself. You don't feel passion for things you originally liked. You feel empty or hopeless all the time, irritable or frustrated, and have excessive anxiety or worrying. Depression is a medical condition. It's a chemical imbalance in your mind that can damage you if it's left unchecked. Depression is very serious. So if you think you have it, I'd recommend to see a doctor or a counselor. You may need to be, or you may need to take prescription drugs. Fixing depression is a long process, but it does need to be solved because you might think it's okay now, but your mental state can affect your physical health in fatal ways. The principles that I list in these videos or in this video are for when you think you have depression, you're looking to see if you can cure these conditions without drugs, or possibly looking for a quick fix to change your life. So my first principle on how to tackle depression is to not isolate yourself. I know that with depression, it's very easy to just stay at home and just not do anything productive. Whether this means jacking off, playing video games, or just lying in bed all day, this or these activities are just short-term escapism. You might feel good for that period of time, but when you're not doing that activity, you're just going to feel more depressed. Humans are also social creatures. You need to force yourself to leave your home despite feeling like complete shit or feeling like you don't have any motivation to do anything. So go for a walk, work at a cafe, talk to friends, or go to the gym. My second principle is to not believe in depression. This is one of the most controversial lines by Andrew Tate, where he said depression is not real. Well, of course, depression is real, but the reason why he said that is because why believe in something or label yourself as feeling weak and unhappy with life if you can label yourself that you are happy or maybe I don't feel so good right now, but I'm still willing to put in the work rather than I feel depressed, I can't do anything, I feel weak, I lived a shitty life, I had a bad childhood. Because all these different labels you put on yourself, people use these mental labels as excuses. It just limits your potential because what you tell your brain, what you tell yourself every day, that shapes you as a person. If you think you're weak or that you can't study for this test because you're depressed, you can't go for this job interview because you're depressed, you're not going to get that job. You're not going to pass that exam because you're telling yourself that. You're telling your mind what you want it to believe. And that's not a good representation of your abilities as a person. Like, do you want to be known as that guy of, you'll say you have a good friend of yours or just a friend that just meets you. Oh, look at him. Yeah, he works at Wendy's or works a shitty 9 to 5. Yeah, he had a hard life though. And that's why he's in that position. He dealt with depression for X amount of years and he just never got out of it. Depression's a real thing and he's a lot of a weaker person and just unhappy with life. When you label yourself as someone who's depressed as an excuse, you're not going to get anywhere in life. I'd rather you think to yourself that, I feel like complete shit, but despite that, I'm gonna get out of my life. I'm gonna keep working, keep moving forward, and keep trying to push myself because that's what I believe is the right way to go about life. rather than thinking that I'm depressed and I am I am weak. And trust me, I'm labeling these principles because I've been through depression myself and I understand how it works. I understand it that it's hard and it's tough to get through this mental time. But I believe that you can push forward and you're able to deal with it on your own with these principles because that's how I was able to overcome depression. I still feel it nowadays. Of course, it's a part of you now, but you don't need to let it overcome your life. Principle 3, no one is going to save you. This is a popular quote of in the self-development community of there's a moment when every boy realizes no one is going to come save him, and that's when he becomes a man. I think this quote really resonates because in a man's life, it sort of goes like this. First of all, you start off as a kid, you have hopefully you have a good childhood, you're able to hang with different friends, you live carefree. Then when you become 16 and or enter into the workforce, enter into college, no one really gives a shit about you. You have to fend for yourself, you have to pay the bills, you have to be the provider, a symbol of strength for your family. And no one can help you become that provider and become so resourceful they're able to help others. You have to be the one to do that. There's going to be a lot of stress in your life, a lot of highs and lows, dealing with bills, feeling like you're in pain or you're just suffering. And in order to deal with those tough moments in your life, you need to be your own support system because no one is going to save you. You can only save yourself. So if you want to stay depressed, you will. If you don't want to feel depressed, you will have to be the one to change your mindset. There's no magic drug, no pill. You can even take antidepressants that will save you. It might slow down your thinking. You might not feel as many emotions, so therefore you're able to be a bit more productive. But if you don't feel that change or feel like you need to get out of your depressive state and continue taking these pills, like, yeah, you might rely on pills for the rest of your life. But is that the life you want to live, where you feel like an empty shell all the time? And if you don't take those pills, you're not going to live? I don't think so. So depression is a long battle, and it will require a warrior to fight through it. My fourth principle is the gym is the depression killer. So set a goal, and this will help you keep you grounded as well as give you that discipline and that responsibility of if you miss a day at the gym, you're gonna kick yourself because you have that goal to keep you grounded. So for example, my goal might be to build my ideal body, to bench 225, to get a six pack. People that are depressed are usually out of shape or haven't had physical activity in years. When I was in a very low period of my life, I was a bit overweight. I binged ate, I was chronically online and just wasn't the person I wanted to be because I had such low self-esteem at the time. But when I got to the gym, I realized that physical activity puts you in a better mood and makes you happier. You might dread it during that period of time where, you're breaking out your muscles and you're sweating, you feel uncomfortable, but that uncomfortability makes you feel really good. I've been going to the gym now for years and I love it. It makes you feel so empowered and so strong lifting weights. And that's one of the main reasons I was able to overcome my depression. So principle five is motivational videos plus action. So motivational videos give you that spike of dopamine to keep you motivated. So if you combine that dopamine with action to become productive again, it's game over. You become that productivity machine. So some examples of motivational speakers that I watch: David Goggins, Les Brown, UFC fighters, Theo Vaughn, Andrew Tate. A lot of these guys, what they preach and what they say should really inspire you. These guys are people that have come from nothing. Nothing. Look at David Goggins, read up his story of how he became a Navy SEAL, but also how when he was a child, he was abused by his father. He had a broken household, yet he accomplished all these things. This should make you inspired and put yourself into perspective. That man could have easily went into depression and could have labeled himself as, I had a shitty childhood and that's why I'm overweight. That's why I'm so fat. And I spray for cockroaches or just don't have the life I envision. But he never thought that way. He never tried to label himself. No, he always put in the work, always strived to live a better life because he didn't want to be in that shitty lifestyle. And this ties into I think this is my second last principle of someone has it much harder than you. So put your life into perspective. Think about it. You have a home, clothing on your back, food in your belly, a phone, able to watch this content on YouTube. You have it better than 75% of the world. There are children being killed every day in wars and wish they could be in your position. Wish that their only problem was feeling depressed or just feeling like not doing anything. At least you have the opportunity and the ability to do something instead of worrying that the next day you might lose your life. Principle 7, dedicate yourself to your purpose. So I know most people cope with depression with escapism or vices, but this is only a bandage. I mentioned that you only feel good in the short term, but it doesn't cure your depression or cure it long term. So find something you love doing by trying many things, and eventually you will find that passion again, that spark that makes you want to live life to the fullest. Some examples for me were Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, drawing, graphic design, sports. Try to do something productive rather than just, playing video games or something that doesn't really benefit your life in the real world. Because if you dedicate yourself to the wrong thing, it might actually make you even more depressed.